Hello everyone, this is Mutated Nuts and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to OSCP video series. Today we'll be looking at a different platform altogether, that is Vulnhub. The box we are doing is InfoSecPrep OSCP and the author is Falcon Spy. And this box was specially created for this OSCP voucher giveaway. So if you want to do this box, you have to download this particular VM over here and you have to host it using VMware or VirtualBox. So once you do that, you please ensure that you have to have the network adapter set to host only in both the Kali Linux or the OS you're running, and as well as the particular vulnerable VM over here. So let's just get started. So first thing, what I always do is I run an AutoRecon scan. If you guys don't know what AutoRecon is, it's an enumeration tool. It's going to do few nmap scans on the target machine first, and based on the output and the ports and services open, it's going to do additional scans on them. So I'll be using AutoRecon over here and it's available on GitHub. You can get it from there, and I'll be running the box as I'll be running this AutoRecon py as root. So I'll be giving sudo over here because I'm running the box as Kali. I'll be giving Python 3 in order to run this autorecon.py file. I'll be giving the target IP address, that is 192.168.52.129. The thing is, after you boot up with the network configuration and adapt of you boot up the vulnerable VM, so you'll get something like IP and this particular IP. So the author was good enough to give us the IP displayed over here. Rather, if it is not present, you can do a discovery and you can find out that which all hosts are present and up and running. So this is the IP is already given over here, so it makes things easier. So we have this thing over here, and we'll be given the O switch for output and the output location where you want to save the scan result. So I did already execute this autorecon.py file because it takes quite some time to execute. So let's just look at the scan results. So first thing is, I always look at the full TCP nmap scan. So let's just open that. We see that we have 3 ports open over here, that is port 22 running SSH, and there's some version number over here. Obviously you can go and check this on SearchPloit, but this is fairly new. I don't think there are any exploits for this. Also you can check out for this Apache version over here. We have port 80 running HTTP, and we have port 33060 running MySQLX. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just enter all the ports over here just for reference. If we get something and and I don't think we should forget to enumerate any of those ports. So we have port 80 over here, we have port 33060 over here as well. Okay, so let's just start with port 80 maybe, because port 22 I think you can only probably brute force it. So let's just start with it, and we obviously have the AutoRecon scan and a lot of many results we already have many results over here. So what we'll try to do, we'll just go quickly and check out the web page first on port 80. So we do that. It says OSCP voucher over here, so probably you can click on this because it's like very bold and highlighted. So this was the first thing you can click, and then it says just another WordPress site. So probably it's running WordPress, and you can try and do a WP scan over here and try to get information, and you can try to click all these kind of things over here and get some additional details. And also, okay, so once we come over here, it says like there is some instruction, and it says like, oh yeah, I almost forgot, the only user on this box is OSCP. So most likely this is like the only user in this particular box. So what we can do is we can just have a potential username over here, that is probably OSCP, and we can try to find out more about this particular page. You can try and enumerate it more, but I don't think it's required anymore. You have the username over here. So we'll just quickly go and look at the AutoRecon scans. So we can look at the TCP GoBuster scans, and if we look at the GoBuster scan which was done by AutoRecon, it gave us like few interesting things like robots.txt. There's something like secret.txt as well as multiple WordPress pages. So what we'll just close this for now, and obviously the first thing you can just try and check one thing at a time, but I just want to show you something different, how AutoRecon helped us in this particular box. So we have this robots.txt file over here, and it says disallow agent secret.txt. So first thing what we can do is we can just quickly go and check for that robots.txt file. So let's just look at that, and it says the same thing, user agent all disallow secret.txt. So in short, this is nothing like you don't have access to this secret.txt page. It's just telling the crawlers like Google crawlers and other crawlers over there on the internet that do not go and enter this particular secret.txt. Okay, so obviously this box is like vulnerable VM, but in general robots.txt works like, do not crawl this, and Google will be like, okay, I understand, I don't have to go and access this space, so I will not do that. I'll obey the law and the rules. So this is what Google is going to do. And in short, if there is any other user like we are trying to get into this box, obviously this looks something interesting, right? So we can just take this file and we can look at it, and it looks like base 64 encoded data over here to me. Because why? Because there's some 2 equal to signs over here, and it most likely looks like base 64. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just try to take this, you can try and copy paste, or you can just control C and try to do a wget over here. So let's just go to our exploit directory and use wget over here with this secret.txt. Hit enter. It's very quick because it's running on the local VM itself. So let's just go and look at the secret.txt file. If we look at it, it obviously is the same file, and what we'll try to do is we'll just go and give secret.txt and we'll do a base 64 decode over here and see if that works. So if we do that, we see that we have a openssh private key present over here. Okay, so obviously if you guys don't know what private keys are, it's like you can use that private key probably to log into the box if you have a using SSH, if we have a valid username. So probably we have something like OSCP over here, so why not use that and try to see if we can log in. So first we'll just try to output this into something called as IDRSA or something called as secret itself. So you can just enter secret or IDRSA. So let's just enter secret for now, and we do that, and we have to change the permissions of the secret file. So the secret file has read write permissions over here, so I think it's good enough. I don't think we need to change permissions further. Okay, we'll just change 00, so we don't want anybody to read it. So obviously the read write was over here, but we'll just change it to 600 because we don't want any other permissions over here. So let's just do chmod quickly, chmod 600. So 6 is for this read and write for the first two, and it will be 00 over here and 00 here as well. So that's why that 0 is in place, sorry, single 0. Okay, and let's just do secret. Let's just do that and then try to do lsla and see. We obviously have changed the permissions over here. So now what we'll try to do is we'll try to SSH into the machine that is a target machine, which is the vulnerable InfoSecPrep machine. And before that, we can try and check out this particular user, right? So we have this user, so we can do SSH into the box, give a I file, that is identity file, and probably give this secret, that is the private key, and give the username, that is OSCP over here at, and the target IP address, that is 192.168.52.129. Okay, so this is what it's going to do, and if you hit enter, you're already in the box. Okay, so if you do who am I over here, you are as user OSCP. Okay, so this was how it was done, and we are over here as OSCP. So what we'll try to do next is we can just try and see. Obviously in hack the box we have like 2 flags over here, but most likely this box has only 1 flag. But however, we'll just go to our home directory. Okay, where are we? Let's see. Okay, we're already in our home directory, I guess. Let's just go back and see if we get something. We just have one user over here, OSCP. Obviously we do not have any flags present over here, but what we can do is we can just go back to our TMP directory, and obviously we can just try for sudo l as well. It's asking for password. I don't know the password, so probably just I don't think it's worth it. So sudo l, as well as you can check out for the OS version and kernel version, and see if you get some additional information. You just get like it's a 64-bit OS, and yeah, that's it. So I don't think there's any additional information present over here. So what we'll try, just try to run a enumeration script now, that is LinEnum. We'll try to do that. Before that, we'll just try to locate linenum.sh. Let's try to do that, and we do have it over here, and let's just copy it in our current directory. If you guys don't know where to get LinEnum from, so y'all can go on Google and check out the GitHub page over there. So probably get LinEnum from there on GitHub, so it's available. So another thing is what I'll try to do, I'll just try to run Python HTTP server. So I'll be giving Python 3 M switch for modules and HTTP server module, and I'll be giving the port that is 8000. I'll be running this on my attack machine, Kali machine. So I'll be running this because I want to transfer that LinEnum file into the target machine over here. So we can use wget. Let's see if we have wget first. Yes, we do have wget. So let's just give the IP address, that is 168.52.130. This is my IP address in this particular current network now. Okay, so this is what my IP address is. It's obviously different than the target machine, but yeah. So we'll give port 8000 over here, and we'll be giving the file name, that is linenum.sh. So let's just do that quickly. It got downloaded over here. We do have a linenum file over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to run linenum. But before that, we have to chmod it because we need executive permissions. So we can do chmod, and we can give like 777 probably, or 744, does not matter. We'll just give 777 since it's on the target machine any which way. So linenum.sh, do that and try to run it. So you do that, and it may take some time to execute. So probably till it gets executed, we can see for multiple things. We can see the distribution versions and everything. We can take this particular version, you use it against search exploit and see if we get something. But I don't think there is any, but we can do that as well. I'll just go down. We do have the different group memberships and users present over here, and we do have our groups present as well over here, and it says we are part of multiple groups over here. Also, we are part of this interesting group, that is LXT. We'll come to this in a bit, but yeah, this is the etc password file. Don't think there is anything much, but obviously there's like OSCP user LXT MySQL. Also, when I first did the box, I was trying to, since there's a MySQL thing, right? So, and WordPress site as well. So I was trying to check out the config file or something and get some credential, log into MySQL, try to extract information or something like that. But that was not the way to actually get root. So we can look into all these kind of things, and we can scroll down. Obviously, first time when you do the box, you have to look at it, you know, go through it properly. And even I do the same thing. And if we come to the SUID files over here, we have like an multiple binaries present over here, and we do have an interesting binary, that is your user bin bash. And where is it? If you can go through it and check, we have something over here, user bin bash. So that means you can actually run bash as a SUID file, and the SUID, obviously the owner is root. So obviously I hope you guys know what SUID is. So setuid is nothing but if wherever this S is, right? So if the owner over here, this first part belongs to root, right? So if the S is present over here for executable, and we do have this X, this thing is important as well. If we have the X, because we belong to the others group. So if we have this X over here and we have this S over here, we can run this particular user bin bash as root. So whenever we execute it, it's gonna run as root. Okay, so we can do that, and obviously here it mentions as well that interesting SUID file. Okay, so if you go for the group as well, the same thing over here, user bin bash. So we can take this and copy it in our cherry tree over here. Interesting things to look at. So we have user bin bash, and also we'll scroll down and we'll probably get something different as well. As we saw earlier, we are part of LXD group as well. So we could, probably misuse these rights, and this is what the second exploitation would come in picture, which is a bit interesting. And the first part is a bit easy. So since we already have bash over here, so obviously I'll just try running user bin bash and see if it works and if we get a shell. So if you do who am I, we are over here as OSCP user itself. So that did not work, right? Because we had setuid present like RWS, but it did not work. So let's just exit this and now go to GTFObins. So I'll just change the network now. Just connect this GTFObins. Okay, so we are over here and we can just quickly check for bash over here, and we do have bash. Let's just click that, and it says if you want a shell, you can just use bash. So we can look at the setuid part. So we do have this thing present over here. It says sudo ch. Okay, this is, you can ignore this first command because it mentions that how do you create a SUID file. So don't want to look at that. Look at this interesting thing over here, that is run bash and the p switch over here. So probably this thing is important. So let's just try to do that. Run user bin bash again. Okay, I have to change the network. So let's just connect over here. Okay, we do have user bin bash, and I'll be giving the p switch now. And if I do who am I now, I'm root. So this is this is how the box was actually meant to be, and it was the most easiest, like not most easiest, but it was an easy part. And if you if you guys find it a bit tricky or something, that's fine. Everybody has like different difficulty level and everything. It's okay. It was maybe a bit confusing, but I think it was a bit easy. But yeah, you get to learn, enumerate, find the robot.txt file, try to base64 decode that particular key and get into this box. So yeah, there were few things over here. It's not like complete for beginners or something, but yeah, once you know few things like to run AutoRecon, do your enumeration and something, you can get into this box. Okay, so another thing is we'll just try to exit from here, and we'll just try to have this another exploitation done, since we are already part of LXD, right? So we can do this LXD group privilege escalation. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try and connect to this again so that I get network, and we'll just try and do this LXD group privilege escalation. So if you just Google that, we come across this particular article over here, which is going to be helpful for us. And we can follow the steps over here so that we get LXD privilege escalation done. So since we already got back over here, right? So now we are okay. So we do have this particular web page over here. So it says that you need to be part of LXD group, is trying to install and all these kind of things. So first thing is we'll just try and see if LXD and LXC is present in our target machine. So let's just go over here and let's just see. We can probably do locate LXD and see where LXD is present. So obviously you get like multiple commands over here for LXD. You can probably just scroll on top, and we do have multiple versions of LXD, like okay, not versions exactly, but directories of LXD, and we do have like snap bin LXD, like a binary file LXD present over here. So we can use that as well. Obviously we need another command, that is LXC over here, in order to successfully execute, because LXD was probably to install it or something, LXD init, something like that. So we do require LXD and LXC over here for multiple commands, so we can check for that. And obviously we get LXC over here as well, snap bin LXC. So we can copy this path and we can just take this over here, snap bin LXC, and we can just try and follow this particular guide. And it says obviously we do have LXD LXC installed, so we can come to this part that says privilege escalation. So it says SSH into the box. We are already in the box, we already are part of this groups, so we can just quickly confirm that with groups. So we are part of LXD over here. And then later on after that, we can, it says like steps to be performed on the attacker machine. Download build alpine in your local machine through git repository, execute this. Okay, so in short we have to go through all these kind of things mentioned over here. So first thing is we need to git clone this particular LXD alpine. Obviously you can go and first check this LXD alpine if it's a genuine thing or not. It does not mean like you get anything over there, like whatever is written over here on the internet does not mean you just go download and run it. Just go through it, but obviously I think it's trying to create some alpine file, genuine file, so we can use this. So let's just try and create another terminal over here, change the network. So in order, if you don't want to change the network back and forth every now and then, we can actually try and set that thing up so that it runs both the internets like at one go. But I didn't want to do that, so I just thought manually do this over here. Okay, so let's just do git clone with this HTTP alpine builder and probably wait for some time to actually clone this repository. You can go and manually download it as well, but we'll do git clone and it's a bit easier that way. So we can just go and check. We have this LXD alpine builder. It mentions over here that next thing is you go to this alpine builder directory and try to do build alpine. So let's just try to do that. So let's just go cd That's the directory's name, lxd alpine builder. So we are over here, and we'll just try to build this alpine file, but we need to run it as root, because over here it's mentioned that executed by the root user. So let's just do that, and build alpine. Okay, so at times like, you know, I recently had an error with this particular tool. Like, it was actually giving me some fetch error, because okay, so this is the same exact error which I was getting over here, which says no such file or directory, because in short it's like, you know, there has to be some slash after this alpine thing. So what I did was I just tried to use a different architecture, that is A686. I just tried to do this and I tried to fix that error. So now we see that, you know, we have the slash over here present right after alpine. So this is what I want actually, and let's see if I can just try and build the alpine file again. Okay, so that's done. So let's just try and remove this A and see if this works again. I'm not sure it's gonna work or not, but let's just try. Okay, so it did not work, because if you see after alpine there actually has to be a slash over here, but as it was present over here. But yeah, this thing would work as well. So I have tested this thing for I686, so you can do that. You can try to Google for this particular thing, and it will probably mention you how to actually, if you do fail to install root fs, it will tell you to use some different architecture or something like that. So you can do that, but at times it worked, but at times it did not work. I think it's trying to get something from a mirror and it is not properly written, so that's why this thing is happening. So in short, we have this alpine file over here. We can take that file. Okay, we have to transfer that file to the host machine, so let's just do that now. And we obviously have the Python HTTP server running, so let's just copy this particular file back over here to the expert directory where this Python HTTP server is running over here. Okay, so we'll just take it over there in that particular directory and go to, okay, so we need to change network again. So we'll just go to the TMP directory and we'll try to use wget over here, 192.168.52.130. 8000 is the port which it's running, HTTP server. Just try to rename this and try to get this file. So it's already in our machine over here. If you do lsla, it's already present over here. So now next thing is you can, you know, this is what we executed, this is what we did. So now we have to do lxc image import and this kind of thing. So you can take this, copy this entire thing, or we can just try and write it off, lxc image import. So first thing is, in order to run lxc, we need to run it as snap bin lxc, because if you do lxc over here, it's not gonna work. So we need to do snap bin lxc. So let's just take this entire path and try to use this, and then later on you can do, I think it was image import. Yeah, image import, and the file tmp alpine, give the whole directory. It mentions over here that dot, you can do that as well, but you can give the whole directory, and then alias name, that is my image. So you can just give a different name, probably you can give any name you want, so I'll just give mutated nuts over here. Okay, so let's just hit enter and let's see if this works. It says image imported with fingerprint and so on. So if you go over here, we have to do lxc image list. So let's just do that as well. So we'll probably need this lxc image list. And we do see our mutated nuts image present over here. Okay, so we do have this thing present, and now next step we have to go and it says lxc init my image ignite something, I think. Okay, so let's just try to copy this thing and see if it works. Obviously we need to modify a few things over there, so let's just try to, my bad. So we need to modify a few things. First thing is obviously the my image name. Over here we need to remove this and add mutated nuts, because this is what we added over here, right? Earlier when we created the image we added mutated nuts. So let's just leave it as it is, because this is what we are adding over here. And also this lxc, so we need to add snap bin, otherwise it's not going to run because it's present in the snap bin directory. Okay, so let's just try to run this. And if we run this, we get something like no storage pool found, please create a new storage pool. So if you just try to Google for this error, let's just try to do this. And we do get multiple, things present over here. So let's just look into it. And in short, the solution is you have to run lxd init over here. Okay, so let's just try running that, and it's basically like, you're trying to actually run the whole instance of lxd. So if we see over here in this particular privilege escalation on top, this particular user did actually run lxd init, but obviously was trying to set up lxd properly, but I think the storage pool was not set. So let's just try to do this lxd init and let's just try to run it. So before that we have snap bin, and that's what we need. Okay, snap bin lxc. Okay, that's come already. So instead of lxc we need lxd now, not lxc, because we had seen earlier as well, right? We got lxd with snap bin lxd, and also we do need to add this init function over here, because that was mentioned in the solution as well, which we saw earlier. So let's just try to do this. And it will say, would you like to use LXD clustering? So I'll just hit enter for each and everything. Yes. So it's creating a new storage pool. I'll just enter yes. So I'll just enter, just press enter. That's it. Don't enter anything. So obviously it mentioned dir over there. So probably you could have mentioned dir, but I think this would work as well. So let's just try and see if this works. So let's just do this. No. So I'll just probably give 1 GB over here. Just wait for some time and see if this, okay, I think it's done now. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to run this thing again, which we did try to execute earlier, right? So let's just do that. It says creating ignite. So I think it was successful because it did not give us any error. So next thing is we come back over here, follow the steps over here. Okay, so in this particular POC we do have another thing which says lxc config device add my ignite over here. So let's just try to do that. And it says part and mnt root, and also there's no particular name for mutated nuts, like probably my image or something. So I think we can run this. Don't think we need to modify anything over here, so we can give snap bin lxc config. Okay, let's just try to run this and see if it works. And it says device, my device added to ignite. So next thing is we can use this lxc start ignite. So we'll just enter snap bin lxc start ignite. Let's just do that, and I think it's done. We do not get any error over here. We can go over here as well, same thing, snap bin exec ignite bin sh. So probably you'll get a shell, and we do get a shell over here. If we do who am I, we are root, but we are root inside that lxd container. So whatever image we have created over here, right, we are root inside that. But this particular container, if you look over here, it says that once you are inside the container, navigate to mnt root to see all the resources from the host machine. So we have created a container, and all the resources which were part of the actual host machine, the vulnerable machine, that is your this InfoSecPrep OSCP machine, that is actually present in that mnt root container. So okay, so if we just try to do that, we'll just try to do lsla. Obviously we are in the root directory inside the container, so we can go to cd mnt, and we do have something like root over here, so let's just go to root. And if we go over here, we are listed over here with multiple things. Okay, so quickly we can just try and go to the root directory over here and see if we can. Yes, we can. And if we see over here, we do have our flag present over here. So this was not actually a privilege escalation. It was like some, okay, privilege escalation not done yet. We do have access to all the files, and we can do, very well write it as well. So we do have the flag present over here, flag.txt. And you can try to read it very well, because we can read it, read. Okay, so we can read this particular flag over here and get the flag. So this is like basically is just like, just try to create this over here. We are creating a container, and this particular container which we have created in the mnt directory will have all the files present from this InfoSecPrep. So whatever files you have, right, like user, root, and all this kind of thing, all the files will be present from this vulnerable machine inside this mnt folder over here. So this is what this LXD group is doing, and this is how this thing actually is working, because we did not get a shell as root. Obviously if we do this, who am I, we are over here as root, but if you do uname a, we are in a different box altogether. Okay, so obviously if you want an actual shell, you can go to this .ssh directory, and you can write this authorized keys with some of the private key, the public key which you create. You can create that, and you can actually get a proper shell as root. So this is another way you can do and gain root access over here. And also obviously we can write files over here. So just write mutated_nuts.txt. And we do have mutated_nuts.txt over here. So just in case you all were wondering that we cannot write files over here, we can write it. In short, the entire this particular file system is mounted in this container which we just created in the mnt directory, and the OS is running actually with respect to this particular container over here. It's not running this, so we can actually mount this entire thing over here, and we can very well read the files in short, read all the files in short. So that means we can write, read. So basically we can have an escalator privilege using this SSH or something like that. Or probably we can enter the sudoers, we can modify the sudoers file as well. So yeah, this was the box, and it was the first exploitation was easy, and it was meant to be easy because of the voucher. And also the second exploitation was a bit interesting, so that's why I tried to create it and try to do this privilege escalation method. Okay, so if you guys like the video, do give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more upcoming videos. If you all have any queries regarding the VM installation, or the LXD privilege escalation or file system or anything, do drop it in the comments below. And thank you.